Hey guys, and welcome to the Garage Athlete Show with myself and Daniel Frazier. We're on episode
Motherfucker.
68.
Oh, you pronounced
Um,
it right. You get two
did I?
extra points for that one. You
Oh,
normally say
nice.
Frazier. I'll give you that,
Oh,
Frazier. I'm buzzing about that.
fair
That's a good
enough.
start to the day.
Yeah, it's a win for the morning. So we were meant to
Yeah.
have a guest, however, they've had to pull out last minute, which means we don't have a set of questions to cover today. So we thought, rather than like cancelling, we're going to keep this momentum going in terms of kind of getting an episode out each week and just have some chat time, a bit of a bro chat between myself and Dan. And we're going to talk probably more about home gyms this week, just because, as a lot of you will know, both myself and Dan have home gyms. I train out of my home gym about 50% of the time. When Dan gets into training, I'm sure he trains. We will talk about that again in a minute. But there's some bits of equipment that like I want to add in, some things that I might be looking to sell and kind of get upgrades and stuff. So we thought we'd have a bit of a chat. Obviously, being personal trainers, like equipment and stuff is tax deductible. So it's quite a good time of year now for us to be looking to upgrade stuff because our
Got
tax
3 months
bill's
to do
due.
it.
So we've just paid it. However, we're like, right, let's buy some stuff now. So we bring down our next year's tax bill. So how are you, Dan, anyway? And if anybody's watching like on YouTube, I apologize that I'm eating, but I've got to get this meal in before my next client.
I'm angry because I've just spent 2 hours cooking dinner and tidying up the kitchen and like doing a bit of like housework. I'm like 2 fucking hours of my life has just gone, and it's made me angry. It shouldn't do, but I just checked the clock and I'm like, how did that happen? Because basically, I'm sure of it. I've got too many kids and not enough people to help. So I'm currently doing like pickups, doing was like 20, I've got to get the twins from the childminders, get Clodagh from school, then come back and then navigate them all. And then like they've had their jabs last week, so it's kicking
I
in
don't
now.
mooded them.
Yeah, so like they're just so angry, and it's like how can you make dinner with a freaking like 14-month-old like tugging your leg, and the other one's in the other room crying, and then the other kid's asking, well, can I have a drink of juice or something like that? It's just it's crazy. So I was like, right, I'm gonna get ahead. After I trained people this morning, I'm gonna make dinner now. So I made it. I made a cottage pie. It looks really nice actually, but then like it's just taking so long. I was like, I think the thing you find is I don't have time to waste on anything. Like, I was like, maybe I
Yeah.
could do like literally have no time. I can't do that. So I made that. Glad I made a meal for the kids and all that. That's brilliant because like we're just living in squalor and it's so easy to go back into takeaways or crap food and convenience if you don't plan ahead. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna take a leaf out of my own book, plan ahead, get something made. So did it, but yeah, it's cost me a bit of time, but hopefully it's freed up the evening and I can navigate the kids a bit easier than what it
Yeah.
was today all at once. So yeah.
Well, it's a similar story for me. So Natalie did a long shift on Sunday, and the kids weren't. So the two older kids, it's like 50% here and 50% with their dad.
Mhm.
So it's just me and Willow on Sunday night. So I was just like, oh, I've got all this meat. Like, right, I'm gonna prep it all up, like get all my meals ready for like the next week. So literally spent about an hour and a half. So I cooked Willow's tea, made a food prep, ate one of those for myself, and then like Tupperware tubbed everything out. And as you said, it just makes life so much easier if you just do that little bit of time, like planning ahead. And now when I know it's meal 2 or meal 3, like I just go in the fridge and it's there. I grab a pack of rice, stick it in the microwave, and it's just done. And it's getting to that time of year now where it's, as you said, like you don't have any time to waste because there's stuff going on left, right, and center, kind of like within the business. The kids are getting back into their routines, and your missus just come back to work as well, hasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Like trying to navigate everything, and as you said, like make tea with like 3 screaming kids around. It must be an absolute nightmare. So glad that you're kind of getting back on top of things, dude. It sounds like you've having a bit of a time with it at the moment. So I'm guessing that thing you wanted to do was to go and train, but you've not been able to.
No, mate, like training for
No.
me is very much the back burner. Like now I'm not competing, it's not essential. It's the last thing that happens. Whereas I'm quite busy at the moment. So even the times I could train, it would be 8:30 at night to train after everything. And kids under 4 are a different kind of level of fatigue. Like there is no let off. So by the time it comes to that, you are literally like, I'm ruined. But yeah, I mean, previously I would have trained the last couple of hours. I would have gone, yeah, if I got to train a quick fit tonight, what does it matter? Whereas it's just not a problem. So my days kind of end at like 3, half 3, because then I've got to get the kids and then take care of them. And then they start up again about 7:30 after I've done all the bedtimes and all that. But once that happens, you're just like, oh man, like training for me, like is going back down to, 3 sessions a week, 45-minute sessions, full body. That's what I can do right now. That's great. I mean, when I had my first born, I only trained, I think, twice, maybe 3 times a week, but I made some great gains because, I just worked with what I had. But yeah, training is very much the second thing on my list at the moment.
Yeah.
And then I tried training again last week and my back's still fucked. So it's just been one giant. Yeah. I mean, if you never stop trying, you don't lose. You don't, if you never give up, there's always a solution coming. There's always a way. It's just slowly working towards figuring that out. And yeah, I'm getting there. But twins is, training is the last thing on the list.
That's not a problem. Well, for me, it's just trying to fit everything in at the moment. Like the home gym is a godsend when like weeks like this week, it's been like everything's chocker. So normally it's a 15-20 minute drive to the gym that I use because it's in Newark, straight down the A1, but it's like a proper bodybuilding gym.
Right.
Whereas this week it's just been like, no, I'm just making do with what's in the garage. Just because that extra half an hour is the difference between getting something done and not getting it done. But yeah, it's because I'm now spending a little bit more time in the home gym. I'm like, right, how can I replicate this movement like better in here? So top kind of like 3 things. If you could reinvest into your gym at the moment, what's the top 3 bits of kit you'd want?
Okay, I would probably do some finishing touches. Like I would probably finish off boarding the gym with chipboard. Like I've got half of the gym boarded. It looks really cool, but I'd like to do the whole of the gym. I'd like to paint it black. I'd like to get like a daylight LED light because at the moment I've got like it's a bit yellowy, but I guess I would like one of those proper like daylight bright lights because I'm quite big on. I think it needs to be light when you train. I'm not keen on this disco club look when you lift. I think it's fucking shit, but that's my opinion. So I want like lots of light when I lift. And then I would probably I would re-level the platform. So I would redo it again. My garage is on a bit of slope. It's not that bad, but to me, it's one of those things in my back of my mind I want to sort out. So I'd probably buy tons of plywood and level the platform again. It's about an inch slope. So I would try and get that perfect. So for me, they'd be the main things I want to get. In terms of equipment, I've got my eye on that. I'm just going to get up now, that Mirafit SSB bar.
I think James just ordered one of those.
James has got one, but I've got the old Strength Shop version 1 strength safety bar, which is amazing but terrifying at the same time. Like the whip on it is insane. Once you get up to around 180, you're literally like bouncing with it and it makes you strong. I quite like the idea of a bar that just doesn't move like that. Maybe a safe bar, but I think there's some videos maybe of that bar like snapping on people, but I think that's rare. But it's a bit of a crazy bar, but it helped me. It got me strong when I needed it for strongman. But I would quite like that safety bar, especially as I'm working harder on variations now because I'm sort of moving away from your low bar squats and your traditional deadlift. So I think I would like that SSB bar. Anything else? I'm probably going to sell my log, a big strongman log, because if I'm going to do shoulders, I'll probably choose to do dumbbells or an axle instead. Logs they're mint, but it takes up quite a lot of room for something I'm not competing in. So probably going to move that on. I'm probably going to sell some plates as well. I've got those black barbell standard plates, but I don't need the amount I've got now because I don't deadlift anymore. So I'll probably move some of that on. And then in terms of reinvesting, I've got bench. I wouldn't mind seeing some of those like rack accessories. Like, there's that leg curl attachment, which looks really
cool. The Savage Strength one.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I guess the only issue is it comes down to cost. I mean, I don't mind spending money on equipment. Like, for example, my barbell is 350-ish quid, which is, great. I use it every session. Not a problem. Whereas when you start spending, like my ski egg, I think I spent like 800 quid on it and I ever use it as a warm-up. So it seems a bit like, why did I do that again? But then things like the leg curl, they're brilliant, but you are investing quite a bit of cash on something you're not going to, me personally, use that often. But I guess now I'm probably moving more towards, what do you call it? aesthetics with like the bodybuilding side of things. Maybe I do need it. Maybe I should invest that money. So it's just adjusting my thinking. But you're kind of saying here, when you buy stuff for the gym, you always find a way to convince yourself to do it. So you give yourself a really logical thing. You're like, oh, I need this and all that. Well, I don't. But I mean, this is where the argument happens on the forum. It's like, it's your gym. You can do whatever you want. You can buy whatever you want. Spend money on whatever you want. If you want to spend $1,000 on an Eleiko barbell, do it. Like, me personally, would I do that? No. If it's your gym, go for it. So, you know, it's totally whatever you want. But I mean, my wish list is kind of tidying up the gym with certain finishings, and then buying an SSB. I'm pretty sure I'm going to pull the trigger on that one, and then selling a few things. And then, I just like little things that pop up. Like I like a rackable easy curl bar, you know, because obviously when you pick a bar off the floor, it's too far, right? But I just like the idea of being able to put it back in the rack. Say if you do skull crushers or something like that, it could be quite handy. So maybe another couple of specialty bars, and that's probably about it. Really, what
about you? Similarly to yourself, it's about like finishing off like so I've got like half of my ceiling like insulated, which doesn't help at all. So it's about finishing the rest of it, but there's still loads of junk up in the rafters that's meant to kind of go up into the attic. This and that's like, I'm just fighting with the missus about like what needs to stay and what needs to go. It's been in the garage now for like 18 months. I was like, I can chuck most of this stuff. We don't use it, but she's a bit of a hoarder. So I'd be finishing off the paneling that's on the ceiling with some insulation kind of like above it. What else is there? In terms of equipment, I still want some jammer arms. Like, however, so I've got the Mirafit M3 rack now. So they were meant to be bringing out like loads of accessories for it. And it's just not happened. So I'm of two minds as to whether to sell that rack and then buy one that's just seeming to get like more development and stuff in it, whether that's a primal one, whether it's a obviously Muscle Squad have just kind of brought out some like their phase 3 racks, which look really, really cool, because they're like building like a modular system on it. So like you can upgrade and downgrade it like as much as you want. So yeah, I'm still toying with the idea of basically getting rid of that rack and getting a new one. And I need to get rid of the Marcy multi-gym thing that I've got and get some sort of adjustable tower, like for the cables stuff. Like, I don't know what I'm going to replace it with yet, though. All depends on like what turnover's like for this year. Because the tax man came and pulled my pants down at the end of last year. So just dealing with that at the moment. But yeah, in terms of, I was looking at an SSB. I was looking at the Cerberus one. That'd be more for clients than for me, because I don't train legs at home at the moment. Maybe when I've stopped competing, I'll probably get like an SSB for my own.
Just talking for like if you're training clients, mate, it's a phenomenal bar to use. Really like it also kind of limits the weight they can use because it's such a hard bar. Like if you buy a good one, like the SSB I'm looking at, I've used the Elite FTS yoke bar, I think they call it, and it's a whole different ball game compared to the other SSBs I've used. It's so hard, but it teaches you, good posture. You can bring the weight right down.
Yeah. So if I invest in anything in the next few months, it's probably going to be an SSB. I just haven't decided which one. So as I said, I was looking at the Cerberus one. Now Mirafit's brought out one that looks like it's kind of like a lot better, and then the like the Elite FTS and the Primal ones, you're looking at over 500 quid, aren't you? So yeah, I'd be doing a little bit more research kind of into those. Did you see the Extreme Fitness have brought out like a leg curl extension machine that's like got a really small footprint, like Jay's?
Yeah, is it the one that you can lie flat as well?
Yeah, so you can do seated leg curls, leg extensions, and prone, and you can use it for abs as well.
Yes, I've seen it. It looks good.
Machines.
Yeah. I mean, that's another one. I'd have to rejig my layout, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but my headspace isn't there at the moment. But I've had a hamstring curl, and it does take up a big footprint. So they say that I can do it with the cable attachment with a bench now, but it does look really good. Like stuff like that's a dream for home gym when it's multiple use and it's functional and works. Like, what am I trying one of those actually?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Jay's review on it. He's got it. He's been playing around with it at the moment. But
Well, the local.
Yeah, so he's got it as hit at his, but with like I don't know if I said on it, but Willow got chickenpox and then Natalie got COVID. So like
Yeah.
I was going to as minimal places as possible because
Yeah.
like I didn't know if I was carrying it or whatever, which touch wood managed to avoid it.
Sweet.
Lateral flowed like every day for 10 days, which was not nice. I don't know if you've ever tried to lateral flow a 3-year-old as well. It's not.
No, I have. I've done it with my daughter.
Yeah, the old swab up the nose didn't go down very well. So yeah, I think that's about it. Like flooring wise, I'm pretty sorted. I don't want to spend like too much on this home gym though, just because we know we're going to be moving in like 2.5 years time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of limited. Like if I knew I was going to be here for like 10 years, I'd probably like invest in like a decent door and like panel the walls and everything like that. But I'm hoping the next house is going to be our one that we stay in for a long time. And one of the what's the word, non-negotiables on it is that it has a double garage. Like especially because we're going to be moving out to somewhere between here and Lincoln. So Grantham's like a little town. Natalie works in Lincoln. She's getting sick of doing like a 50-minute commute. But that probably means I might be a bit out in the sticks. So like I'm gonna want to have a garage gym that I can train in all the time. Which if I can get a double garage, I can get a lot more stuff in there, and I'm not then having to be like, oh well, I can't do this and I can't do that, because even just with the setup that I've got with the set of jammer arms and stuff, I could probably replicate most movements. But yeah, have you?
I've never thought about jammer arms. I've thought about it. I've just never thought it'd be that. I mean, they look great and they're cool. You know, it'd be nice to have. But it's definitely in the realms of nice to have, not need to get for me.
For me, it's the fixed path. It replicates so many of the fixed path machines, which is why I go to a gym. Is that it's got those fixed path machines that just mean that you can target the lagging body parts for me. So my lagging body parts are basically my entire upper body. So I'm having to.
Yeah, my lagging body part is my body.
But it's great fun actually, because now my split is like 4 days on upper body, like 1 day on lower body. So I'm a typical bodybuilding bro again. But yeah, having access to kind of some different machines and some different kits, it's been cool, but it's just like, oh, I've spent all this money on a home gym now, and now I'm spending money on a gym membership as well. I want to go back to a point where I can train exclusively out of the home gym, but it's because I'm training for competition and I'm trying to bring stuff up, and I just can't replicate the things in the way that I want. And it's just easier to have a gym membership temporarily. And then once I'm kind of there and it's just refining, it'll be much easier just to kind of go back into the home gym.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I sort of toy to and fro from home gym and not home gym. Sometimes it's like, even if you have a home gym, it's kind of easy to, I don't know, necessarily skip a session or half-ass it because you know you're at home. Whereas if you're actually driving to somewhere as well, you're almost like, oh, make sure it's a good one. I'm driving here. So it's just another little thing. But I mean, gym membership, even if it's like, I don't know, they're not expensive. Like people normally talk when they try and justify a home gym in terms of cost. Like it was never about the cost for me. Like I just wanted one. So when they say, yeah, if I have this in 4 or 5 years, I'll be able to pay. I would have paid what I would have in a gym membership. I'm like, yeah, but it's not about that for me. So I'd probably happily spend, you know, you can join JD with the Lico, everything for like 20 quid a month, 24 hours up here. So I'm kind of like, well, it's kind of nice to have the option. But I would still have a gym membership, right? Even if it was once a week. So what's that, like a $5 a session, purely for the fact that I could. Whereas now, time-wise, it's I can't. But I would like the option to. If it was like a couple of years back, I probably would still have a gym membership because I do enjoy the gym environment. Like, you know, it's a weird one, isn't it? Now everyone's got cameras. Like, what did I watch? And you might have seen this video the other day where this lass is in a hack squatting, and she set up a camera to watch herself. And there's a dude behind her, like actually squatting in a hack squat, going for it. And she's like, oh, big shout out to the guy behind me in the video who didn't stare at me while I was hack squatting. And then part of me was a bit like, what? the fuck is this? What gyms are like now? Like you get shout-outs for not looking at someone on video. Like bloody hell, it's like CCTV everywhere in what you do. But I was a bit like, maybe that dude didn't want to be on your video. Like it was just the whole gym environment things. It's weird. Like one
Well,
happened.
everybody's got a tripod and everybody's recording. Well, it's because a lot of coaching has now moved online.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in order to be able to get some feedback from your session, you literally have to record like every single exercise that you do it. But yeah, I always feel a bit bad like when I'm setting up my camera and there is people in the background and stuff, like because I don't, well, some of my stuff tends to go on like stories, so it'll disappear after 24 hours.
No, I think for you it's different in the fact you would put the video up of you lifting and not mention anyone in the background. Even if some lass or dude was literally staring at you, you probably wouldn't mention it. Whereas this video was purely almost like it was like a trap, almost like, oh, big shout out to the guy. Maybe she thought she was being really kind to the dude behind by not saying it, by sort of bigging him up. But at the same time, it was a bit weird. Like, what? It just blew my mind. Like seeing that, like very strange, yeah. Well, yeah, very strange. But yeah, I mean, you know, everyone's got a camera up where you're lifting. You can't take a step without being in someone's spotlight. But the other ones, everyone's vlogging these days as well. So everyone's like, you know, it's got like a fucking camera crew walking around trying to get a Gymshark sponsorship. So it's like, you know, it is what it is. But yeah,
the thing is though,
sorry,
what I've quite enjoyed is that the good gyms have like just an atmosphere. Like when you go in, like you can just feel like this energy. Like you go in and you might just be feeling a bit shit, and then you kind of like you get in the gym, you see some of the people that you know that always train at the times you are, and there's some fucking strong people in the gym that I go to. So it's just like you see some guy like pulling like 200 kilos or something like that. It's just like, right, okay, that's kind of like egged me on to go, you know what, I may be having a shit day, but I'm going to go and push myself. And I did miss, because when I was training like exclusively at home and it was just on my own, it was very easy just to go in and like half-ass the session, just because there's nobody else there and nobody's going to know, sort of thing. And it's then 100% on you and your own ability to get yourself kind of like psyched up. Whereas when there's kind of like other people there, and as bad as it sounds, like we all have egos. Like if you're going in and you want to throw some heavy weights around, if there's people around, you don't want to fail that lift. You don't want to be that guy that's like loaded up like 180, 200 kilos on the bar, gets stuck under it, and then very sheepishly like pulling plates off to then go and do their set.
Yeah,
I've been that guy.
Yeah, maybe we've all been that guy at one point. But yeah, I mean, I quite like training at gym. I love my home gym. God, I adore it. But I do like training at gyms, not because I've worked in them. I feel very. I guess I'm lucky. Like I'm very comfortable in the gym environment. I like it. I can totally see how gyms for a lot of people are absolutely terrifying and the last place they ever want to be. Whereas I've always kind of, you know, I'm fortunate that I do like being a gym. I really do enjoy it. And part of me likes half almost like, I wouldn't say showing off in terms of like all this kind of shit. Like that's not me, but just, you know, it feels good to, you know, like lift a weight and almost have someone stop and sort of look at that oh, shit. Like, you know, it feels nice. You know, maybe it strokes my ego a little bit. But like, yeah, I mean, gyms and home gyms, I think, can go hand in hand pretty well. Like, I think some people try and justify both, but justify one or the other. Whereas I'm kind of like, well, home gyms, right, aren't for everyone. Like you talk about getting ready for training or psyching yourself up. You know, the cold, the lack of equipment, they're not really for everyone. We've seen it in the group and the selling page tons of times. People get all the kit, think they're going to smash it, and they're like, do you know what? This just isn't for me. So, you know, that's where I still think gyms will always kind of have a place, even with COVID or not. I think enough people would not really care enough that they still want to go get gains and not stay away. So, yeah, I mean, I guess we're going off on a bit of tangent, but you know, I still do like gyms. Maybe one day I'll go back to one, but yeah, for the time being, build stuff.
I think what's interesting though is there seems to be a lot more home gym, like a lot more choice now when it comes to like getting your home gym. Because I don't know about when you start. I didn't know about all the different companies, but like when the group first started, it literally was like a Mirafit fan club. Like
Yeah.
that seemed to be the only
It was, wasn't
like
it? Yeah. But this
equipment.
was before
Whereas,
the M3 range popped up as well. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I
and
remember that.
now there's so much choice and so many different places that you can go to. And I think having that level of competition has increased the quality of like home gym kit that you can get now. That's
Yeah.
at an affordable price, just because there's now 10 different companies competing for that market, whereas before it was, well, as I said, Mirafit pretty much just had like a monopoly because they were cheap and they were decent quality for an affordable price. Whereas more people have now moved into that area of wanting to be like good quality but an affordable price. Like the ones off the top of my head that I can think of are people like Muscle Squad, Recharge Fit, Bells of Steel. I think they would probably fall into that category as well, wouldn't they?
Yes, they were. They're kind of they appeal to me. The kind of someone that wants something really good but doesn't necessarily want to pay crazy amounts for it. Like it's kind
So
of
are Bells of Steel UK distributors for an American company?
yeah. So this is where it gets a bit meta. It's a UK distributor for a Canadian company who imports from China. Do you get me? So it
Yeah.
goes a bit like back. Like it's a bit of those ones, but you know they've got. I still, especially I got the website now. Actually, I think that rack I reviewed is back down to 400 quid, which is like insane value. Like by far the best racket in my opinion at that price range for what it opens and what it does. For what it what it opens, what it offers, and what it does.
Did you see the
Yeah, 400 quid.
GHD the GHD reverse hyper like hybrid machine that they brought out recently? That
Yeah,
looks
it's
quite
cool.
interesting.
Yeah, that is cool. I do like the look of that. I'm just on the website now. So yeah, I mean,
Okay.
so what's it, 400 quid? Then the lever arms they've got would fit your rack, by the way, but they're sold out as well.
Fair enough.
Lever arms. Yeah, you just need a.
How much are they on there?
Do you know what they've done? They've just some websites just write
When
sold
it's
out.
sold out, yeah, the price
No,
isn't
no,
there.
no, no.
So
Hang on. No, 200 quid. 200 quid.
okay, that's an option. I will. I'll have to get on their website and sign up to their mailing list.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at that. No, I can see the American there. They're pretty cool. I think it'd be nice for a chest press.
Yeah, so for me, it would be to use for chest press / incline press, chest supported rows. Yes, I don't do that much shoulder press work. You could probably do them for a fixed pass shoulder press machine as well, but I think the arc on them wouldn't be great because it's going to go.
Yeah, you'd have to have it set. It'd be like a Viking press, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, it's mostly rows and then chest press, and so just mimicking like the incline chest press machine and stuff like that. Because I can get that on my Smith machine. It's just a bit. A Smith machine puts a lot of pressure on my wrists because I have to unrack like that and then roll it so that my wrist is straight. And to basically get my wrist in the right position at the moment, I'm pressing like with a suicide grip on a Smith machine, which is a bit. I have to have the safeties on with that because I don't want it to fall. It's fallen once in the like 12 months I've been doing Smith machine press. And luckily I had the safeties on. After that, I was like, I'm definitely putting the safeties on every time because I do not want 80 kilos of bar just like.
Even when you think you don't need it, like think of the amount of time shit goes south when you're warming up or you're just going through the motions, or set your safeties up properly, guys. Another barbell got bent. You remember when I bent mine? But you get the safeties up quite right. It was like, when you're squatting, you've probably got to set your safeties up about a couple of inches below your depth. So if you do end up dropping it, it's not that far that you're giving the bar a chance to survive. It so happens that the bar that did drop was from like, way up. So it was always going to bend. But it's kind of like, get your safeties set up where you need to do, they are weights and, you can fucking hurt yourself for sure. Get them set up in the right position, your safeties, the lot. Even when benching, like, you just never know. Like, say if you suicide group or something, it might come off. You might tear a pec, and it might get you on the neck. Like, you just don't know. So just give yourself the best chance. I mean, a deadlift, like although it's like a big heavy weight, all you do is drop it, which is one of my thoughts to why I think people love to max out on deadlift all the time. Because if it goes wrong, you just drop it, right? Whereas if you fail a squat, yeah, you're gonna know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But yeah, get your safety stuff set up properly. But yeah, I mean, there's always something you want to get. Like I quite like looking at the stuff under like £100, whereas like if you do buy it, it's not necessarily the end of the world. It's just a nice addition to have, like, you know, skipping ropes, slam balls, you know, some little dumbbells, all those kind of things. It is good. I'm just having a look on the Mirafit website again. I would love to have a chat. No, I wonder what the gym companies are like now. Obviously, COVID was the peak.
Yeah.
Etc. was insane. It'd be interesting to see what the sales are like for them now.
So I was speaking to Ryan from Recharge recently, just because I'm on their athlete sponsorship program thing. So, and he was saying about how obviously things initially dipped when all the gyms and stuff opened, but it's been pretty, what's the word, stable. So it's not like where it was before, where your container would be unloaded and it'd be sold before before it's left the warehouse. So it's more just like a trickle now rather than a flood, and they have to be doing more things to kind of make sure that they're building a community kind of like around it. So things like this ambassador program that they've kind of just launched. You'll see a lot more of companies like offering discounts and stuff like,
but kind of like how it used to be.
Yeah. Pretty much you've obviously seen that initial surge. You've got a lot more people now with home gyms and can see the benefits of them. But like your big things like your racks and stuff like that aren't selling as well, because you only ever need to buy that once, or you're going to upgrade it to a better quality one.
Yeah.
Whereas your things like your dumbbells, your benches, your like slam balls, the accessory stuff that you pick up at a later date, that just seems to be ticking over.
Oh, that's okay. That's cool. At least they're still there, and it's not like a.
But it seems like a lot of the what's the right word? A lot of the better, like more trusted companies that like were established during lockdown have seemed to survive that initial like shock. The whole like backlog from China and stuff, how long that's going to take to clear out before like the shipping fees and stuff come back down to normal, who knows? Did you hear about there's a national shortage of whey protein?
No.
So basically, one of my clients actually works for Arla, who basically produce like all the whey for the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And there was when Brexit happened, Arla used to send batches of the whey protein to Holland to get tested so that it could be tested for the quality, to then send it back to them be able to distribute it. Mm-hmm. But when Brexit happened, they didn't realize that in order to get it past customs, it already had to be tested. So the samples were basically getting to customs and then getting shipped back. So they've got like 500 tons of whey protein just sat there. That like is just sat there not doing anything. And they've basically just figured it out now. There's a lab in the UK that will do that for them. So it took 6 months of people sitting around scratching their heads being like, why do these samples keep coming back? But it's just another one of those unexpected kind of like side effects of Brexit. And I don't know if you saw, but in the group, like people are all like complaining because like my proteins prices have gone up like 100% or whatever it is. And it's down to the fact that like there is a shortage, like people are struggling to get hold of whey, so they can't have their 30-40% off that they kind of normally have. But hopefully over the next kind of like few weeks, it should sort itself out, because they've sorted the problem now and it should be getting out to the people that then stick their labels on it and put flavorings in it.
Good old days. I'll just go back to eating food, I guess. Like, whey's so handy to have, isn't it? But yeah, I didn't realize there's just so much other shit going on. You don't. understand. Like, someone's telling me about the reason energy prices are going so high up the other day was something to do with a pipeline from Russia through Ukraine. I haven't looked into it, but the way it was explained,
Natural gas. Basically, the whole world shut down. So our ability to produce natural gas dropped. We had a really cold winter in that year just before the first lockdown. So most European countries like used up their reserves. And yeah, Putin's going basically, because the whole world stopped using oil, I lost a shitload of money. So now I'm going to hold Europe to ransom and go, no, I'm not going to pump gas through here. I want to build this direct pipeline through Norway or whatever it is and cut out. It's because there's that whole war going on in Ukraine, isn't there? Russia like reclaimed like a bit of Ukraine and the world just seems to have forgotten about it. But yeah, basically they want to cut out this pipeline that runs through Ukraine to Europe to make it go like around so they don't have to pay the Ukrainian government or whatever to have this gas kind of come through or something stupid. It's weird like how much like world politics can like affect us on a day-to-day
scary,
basis.
mate. I don't know if you've checked your energy bills, but it's pretty frightening, mate. I don't know if yours is.
We fixed just before it went a bit mental, so we're on like a 1-year fix.
Mine's running out in March, and I've just been quoted, I think, 350% increase on what I pay now, and they're trying to lock me in because that's a great deal. And like, it's
apparently the best thing to do at the moment is to actually go to the standard, because the government has capped where they can put the standard tariffs, but they haven't capped, or there's something in it. Like, is it Money Supermarket? One of those websites basically sent out emails being like, we will always tell you to switch to like save money, but at the moment we're going to say no.
They're telling you to stick, but the thing is mine's ending, so I'm like,
no, but that's just it. Even the standard tariff is working out at less than the fixed ones.
You have to find out the kilowatt and the price per kilowatt. Yeah, I'll have a look. But yeah, it's still. I guess at the moment I'm considered happy to find an energy bill which is double the price I pay now. So that's awesome. Love it. Great stuff.
No worries. Right, I'm gonna have to dash.
No, me too. But yeah, end on a high note. Fuck the world, it's all burning. Yeah, all good, man.
So stop buying gas and electricity and just buy more home gym stuff. It'll make you happy.
Buy more home gym stuff and then burn
it. Yeah.
By candlelight. Great. Yeah. Just but yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to find me, I'm Bubbas and Beans online, or Dave Fraser on Facebook, or in the home gym forum. And you, bud?
For me, it is the Dad Bod Coach on Instagram now, and Donald Sweeting on Facebook / within the home gym group. So been great to catch up, dude, and look forward to speaking to you again next week. We may try and get a guest on, or we may just have another chat. We'll see how it goes.
Oh yeah.
Awesome, dude. Right. Have a good evening, afternoon, evening. Bye.